What if France leaves the G7 and joins hands with the BRICS nations? With the rise of the BRICS countries, their influence is spreading across the globe. French President Emmanuel Macron could take part in the BRICS Summit in South Africa in August 2023, as he voiced his desire to participate in the summit. Now this begs the question: can this diverse group of nations reshape the global order and challenge the dominance of traditional powerhouses? Is the rise of BRICS countries an indication of the impending fall of the United States and its allies? Join us as we delve into the 10 indications that the BRICS are going to take over the world. Number 10. Economic growth. BRICS countries have experienced remarkable economic growth since the establishment of the bloc in 2009. In terms of GDP, they collectively accounted for over 27% of the global economy in 2020. China alone contributed nearly 16% of the world's GDP, making it a significant driving force behind BRICS' economic prowess. Brazil, despite facing economic challenges in recent years, remains one of the largest economies in the world. Russia, a major player in energy resources, has seen fluctuations due to oil prices and geopolitical factors, but has maintained its position within the BRICS group. India, with its large and rapidly growing population, has become one of the fastest-growing major economies globally. South Africa, though the smallest economy among the BRICS nations, plays a significant role in the African continent's economic development. Number 9. Population power. The BRICS countries collectively represent approximately 42% of the world's population, with a total of around 3.5 billion people. China and India, the two most populous nations globally, account for a significant share of this population. China has over 1.4 billion people, while India follows closely with over 1.3 billion. The vast populations of these countries offer immense market potential and labor forces. It drives domestic consumption, fosters innovation, and attracts investments from multinational corporations seeking access to a large consumer base. The growing middle class within BRICS nations further fuels consumption and drives economic growth. The demographic dividend provided by a youthful population has also been advantageous. With a large working-age population, BRICS countries have a greater potential to generate productive labor and drive economic development. Number 8. Trade expansion. Intra-BRICS trade has been expanding rapidly, reflecting the increasing economic integration among these countries. In 2020, the total trade volume among BRICS nations reached approximately $1.1 trillion, showing the significance of their trade relations. China plays a vital role in intra-BRICS trade, serving as the largest trading partner for all other member countries. The trade flows within the bloc are diverse, encompassing a wide range of goods and services. Machinery, electronics, mineral fuels, and metals are among the major traded commodities. To enhance trade cooperation, BRICS countries have undertaken various initiatives. For instance, the BRICS Customs Cooperation Strategy aims to simplify customs procedures, reduce trade barriers, and promote efficient trade facilitation among member countries. Additionally, efforts have been made to reduce reliance on the US dollar in intra-BRICS trade transactions, with proposals for exploring alternative payment systems. Number 7. Foreign direct investment, FDI. BRICS countries have emerged as attractive destinations for foreign direct investment, FDI, drawing significant capital inflows. In 2020, they accounted for nearly 20% of the global FDI inflows, with China and India being the primary recipients of foreign investment. China has consistently been one of the top recipients of FDI globally. In 2020, it received approximately $163 billion in FDI, maintaining its position as the largest recipient among BRICS nations. The country's strong manufacturing base, robust infrastructure, and market potential have made it an appealing destination for foreign investors. India has also witnessed notable FDI inflows. In the same year, it received approximately $57 billion in FDI, primarily driven by investments in sectors like technology, e-commerce, and renewable energy. The Indian government's initiatives, such as Make in India and liberalization measures, have aimed to attract foreign investors and facilitate ease of doing business. Number 6. BRICS Currency. A BRICS currency, often referred to as the BRIC, has the potential to challenge the dominance of the US dollar in international trade. The BRICS nations have been discussing the idea of creating a new currency for cross-border trade. During the 14th BRICS Summit, held in mid-2022, Russian President Vladimir Putin said the BRICS countries plan to issue a new global reserve currency and are ready to work openly with all fair partners. While the practical implementation and details of the currency are still unclear, the concept itself has gained attention and could have significant implications for the global financial system. Currently, the US dollar is widely used in international trade, accounting for approximately 84.3% of cross-border transactions. In contrast, the Chinese yuan, one of the currencies proposed as an alternative, represents only 4.5% of such transactions. The BRICS nations aim to reduce their reliance on the US dollar and establish a currency that would facilitate trade among themselves. By using the BRIC for international trade, the BRICS countries could overcome the obstacles they face in escaping the dollar's hegemony. Number 5. Poverty alleviation. BRICS countries have made strides in poverty reduction, benefiting millions. China stands out with its efforts, lifting over 800 million people out of poverty since the 1980s, accounting for 70% of global poverty reduction. Policies targeting rural development, infrastructure, education, healthcare, and social safety nets contributed to this success. India also made progress, lifting around 270 million people out of poverty between 2006 and 2016 through programs like the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Brazil achieved significant poverty reduction by implementing programs like Bolsa Familia, providing cash transfers, education, and healthcare, and breaking the poverty cycle. South Africa faces persistent challenges despite efforts in social grants, job creation, and infrastructure development, particularly in rural areas and informal settlements. Number 4. Growing middle class. The BRICS countries' middle-class populations have expanded significantly, impacting consumer spending and economic growth. By 2030, the BRICS middle class is projected to represent over 40% of the global middle class, led by China and India. China's middle class has grown rapidly due to urbanization, rising incomes, and consumer spending, and it is projected to exceed 1 billion people by 2030. India's middle class has also expanded, driven by urbanization, economic growth, and a young workforce expected to surpass 500 million people by 2030. This growth creates opportunities for domestic consumption, fuels demand for goods and services, and stimulates economic growth, particularly in retail, consumer goods, housing, and entertainment sectors for domestic and international businesses. Number 3. International reserves. BRICS nations hold substantial foreign exchange reserves, providing them with stability, resilience, and leverage in the global economy. In 2020, their combined foreign reserves amounted to over $5.3 trillion. China holds the largest share of these reserves, accounting for approximately $3.2 trillion. Russia, Brazil, and India also hold significant reserves, with amounts exceeding $500 billion each. South Africa's reserves, though comparatively smaller, contribute to the collective strength of BRICS nations. These reserves act as a buffer against external shocks, support currency stability, and provide a measure of financial security for BRICS countries. They also enable BRICS nations to invest in strategic sectors, support economic policies, and contribute to global financial stability. Number 2. Technological advancement. BRICS nations have excelled in technology, becoming key players in various fields. China leads in 5G with the world's largest network, benefiting sectors like autonomous vehicles, smart cities, and IoT. India's 8 industry is renowned globally, offering software and services while also making strides in space technology with successful missions to Mars and the Moon. Russia stands out in aerospace, nuclear technology, and defense, with achievements in satellite launches, manned missions, and space research. These advancements have global implications, fostering economic growth, innovation, and collaboration among BRICS countries and the wider international community. Number 1. Emmanuel Macron's aspiration to be invited to the BRICS Summit. Emmanuel Macron's aspiration to be invited to the BRICS Summit as the first Western leader is generating intrigue in international diplomacy. People have started speculating that France is going to join BRICS. Macron's active engagement in French foreign policy, particularly in response to Russia's actions in Ukraine, has elevated his global standing. If Macron were to join BRICS, it would have significant implications for the alliance and its quest to expand its influence. Firstly, Macron's inclusion would enhance BRICS' legitimacy and credibility on the global stage. It would demonstrate a willingness to engage with Western leaders and foster dialogue, potentially bridging gaps between the global South and the industrialized West. Now, what is your opinion? Let us know in the comments section. Thanks for watching.